Nothing personal. You're cute for a dark-skinned girl.
Cute for a what?
What I mean is, like, for a dark-skinned girl, like, you're not that bad. You don't look crispy or dark or anything. When I say cute for a dark-skinned girl, like, I meant, like, as a compliment. Let me try this again. When I saw you on Instagram, you had a filter on, so you looked lighter. So I didn't know the color that you actually was.
I grew up in Northville, Michigan, attending Northville High School, amongst a predominantly Caucasian population. Admittedly and thankfully, I cannot claim to have faced any severe discomfort or prejudice in this environment. However, it was often evident that elements of social injustice and discriminatory preconceptions were pervasive in the community. It was on one of these occasions, during an otherwise vapid lunch period, my friend Renee offered me what she likely saw as a compliment. "I think you're really pretty for an Indian girl." My classmate's remark was not an isolated incident of hostility or a misspoken well-intentioned comment, though perhaps unbeknownst to her the statement was a manifestation of deep social inequality. Her comment subliminally asserted that a person of Indian origin was restricted to a limited level of beauty, not even on the same scale as her white peers. Arguably, the biggest perpetrator of normalizing this inequality is the media. The powerful influence of mass media is a function of its ubiquity. By constantly showcasing white models, the populace is fed a notion of beauty embedded in the perfect Caucasian woman. This creates and perpetuates standards of beauty that are centered around idealizing Caucasian features and generating unrealistic expectations, especially in an ethnic context. In the small-town high school, it was prevalent that minority groups were ranked lower in comparison to the larger Caucasian population. Beauty in itself is something that depends on who is judging, a very subjective matter. But in a context where beauty had taken on so-called white characteristics and essentially been attached to a definition, the chances of someone from a minority group to be able to live up to those standards became close to impossible. This situation relates to unlearned factors such as choice, chance, and context. When talking about chance, our color, our facial features, and our hair color all depend on our parents. None of these are characteristics we can choose unless we artificially alter them. Choice is when we consciously decide to buy certain makeup or clothing to try and do our best to fit the presented mold of beauty. Lastly, context. I would not have received this backhanded compliment if the situation were to happen in a school in India, for example. The minority group there would have been Caucasians, making it difficult for them to fulfill the criteria of beautiful woman and not me. When I was put in this situation, at the risk of sounding like I was not able to take a compliment, I kept my mouth shut. After analyzing the situation and seeing how a comment that might seem so minor could create such a large social inequality, I wish I would have said something. As the comment, "You're really pretty for an Indian girl," is not something that is rare to hear, I plan on voicing my opinion about the topic next time, or at least making a comment that forces the person who said it to take a step back and realize what they had just said. Lastly, I would like to say that I realize that when people try and give the compliment, "You're really pretty for an Indian girl," or an African American girl, or an Asian girl, or a Mexican girl, they aren't intentionally giving a backhanded compliment. More often than not, they don't get why this isn't a compliment and actually the opposite. By saying something back and explaining to them that our beauty should not be limited like that and that we are pretty, period, can start to help people understand why the current beauty standards are so skewed.